Welcome back, friends. This is NRI Samay, live from Los Angeles. And week after week, we bring in incredible people, very honest perspectives, and real heroes who just make some impact on the society and then create some difference. On the other front, as NRI Samay, since we deal with a lot of overseas Indians, every week we are trying to see if we can find some good people who can help on NRI Matters and then can provide some good piece of information that is useful and helpful to our NRI community. Earlier, we had Shweta Kandelwal who were talking about immigration issues, and she's given a wonderful piece of information to all our NRI friends. And this week, we have some fascinating young people from the company called eLagan. These guys are young entrepreneurs who have come up with some fantastic piece of software which basically helps NRIs or anybody around any Indian, it's not specific to NRIs, any Indian who's willing to file their taxes online. It's exactly similar to TurboTax, TurboCut that you see, tax cut that you see in the United States. So they've spawned off their business on multiple fronts, but today we are honored to have a couple of young people from eLagan team. So this is Srikanth Kocharlakota, and today I'll be the host, and I'll try to capture as much as information from eLagan team on NRI Matters that really help our community. So most of our NRI friends have these questions. How do I start up a company, and what are the procedures involved in the process? How can anybody around the world, any Indian around the world, file taxes online? Is it really possible? And what is a digital signature, and why would anybody need it? A lot of people are unaware of what a digital signature is, and why would they need it? And are there any benefits of NRIs filing their India taxes? Why would an NRI need to do so? And also, a lot of our NRI friends, we have seen hundreds and hundreds of NGOs in the United States that work for causes in our country. So how would an NRI go about starting an NGO in India? So we'll try to get all this information from the eLagan team. And just to give a backdrop of the company eLagan, and I've digged in a lot about this company, and looks like this company is designed on some principles of simplicity and user-friendliness. So they offer financial solutions like tax preparation, tax planning, setting up businesses in India, end-to-end accounting, auditing, taxation. So we'll try to get in as much as information as possible. We have Naveen Kumar from India, a young entrepreneur, and he has over 12 years of experience with many different MNC companies like Woolworth, Birla Group, Broadcom, Nortel. So I'm hoping he'll bring in a very rich experience his experience in enlightening some key issues that will help our NRI community. Thank you very much, Naveen, for coming on our show. It's a great honor.
Thank you, Srikanth. Thanks for the wonderful introduction. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you. And on the other side, it's a good blend from eLagan team. They have very enthusiastic people back in India, and they equally cover people in the United States. We have another entrepreneur, Vikas. He's from Bay Area, San Francisco, and Vikas is having very strong experience, and I think he could give some good perspectives on startup companies, Fortune 500. He has worked with very good companies like Cisco and National Aerospace Labs, and he's from IIT Bombay. He's presently the president. He was the president of Silicon Valley Indian Professional Association as well. So, Vikas, it's a great honor to have you on our show. Thank you very much for coming on our show.
Thank you for arranging this, Srikanth. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Okay, great. So, first of all, the most important thing that captures any NRI's attention here is, including me, and that's the first thing that I got to my mind when I heard about eLagan, is filing Indian taxes online. Can you throw some light on how anybody, any overseas Indian or any Indian for that matter, can file their Indian taxes online?
So the whole I have been in the U.S. for 14, 15 years, and I've been mostly preparing my tax returns using TurboTax, which is before using CD and now using online. We'll just go online, fill out a few forms. They will ask me some user-friendly questions. What's your name? How much do you make? Do you have a house or not? And it was very straightforward and easy for us to do. But when I started filing some of my tax returns in India, it was a nightmare. We had to go through tons and tons of paperwork. There was no clear guidance of what has to be done. And so what we saw was it was very complicated. So we saw a need to prepare something like that. So we ended up creating a product called Tax Ninja. What it does is asks you a very simple question, step by step. What is your name? How much do you have a salary here? Are you an NRI or not? And taking into consideration, it prepares the tax return form very similar to what you would see in the U.S. or some other countries, which we are able to file using two methods, either physically by posting it through mail or through online. However, they don't have a direct online push through. We give you an XML file that you download, which you have to then go and upload into the the Indian Taxation Department, and it's very straightforward. We have a video explaining exactly how to do, but that's all it takes to prepare and file a tax return in India.
And I'm curious to understand this. How is a lot of tech knowledge involved in anybody trying to file these taxes? Or how do you feel? What's the response of Tax Ninja in the Indian community? Is it the metro crowd that pulls up, that it captures the attention of? Or can you explain more about Tax Ninja here?
Yes. So Tax Ninja, because first of all, it's being online. India is a country where a lot of people are used to somebody else doing the work from them. So initially, we are seeing a very good response from computer professionals who are already familiar with internet and how computer works. And once they're getting the taste of it is that they can actually reiterate. I think the biggest advantage from what we understand from our customers is a lot of them are able to go and reiterate things. They can say, what if I do this? So they are doing a lot of scenario analysis. What if I did this? What if I added another lakh into my LIC policy? Will it change my tax return or not? Can it change the amount of money that I get back? Will it change my tax liability? And that's where we are seeing a lot more adoption. Also, we are seeing a very good net promoter score, which is a lot of people are coming back to us and wanting to file return with us again and again every year, so which is a good sign.
All right. These tax procedures or processes or policies, we have 3 Ps, procedures, practices, and policies, that keep changing every year, right? So how hard is it to catch up with all of these? And are you guys up to date on all of this front?
Yes. So, yeah,
when we offer this product, so we make sure that all the latest policies and stuff are updated. So from your point of view or from any other taxpayer perspective, you just have to answer those questions. And these questions are mostly related to know you, like your name, your income details, what all savings you have made, all those things. But what would be the impact on the tax calculation? You absolutely don't have to have any idea on that. So we just keep asking you in a step-by-step fashion. You can complete everything in a single shot. If you want, you can complete it into multiple shots depending on your availability, documents and stuff. But tax knowledge is absolutely not needed. But on top of that, we have provided help and information related to taxation at every step. So if you want to know more, so what is this and what kind of rules are prevailing, you can just at a click of a button get to know that as well.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I would like to add one thing is
Go ahead.
A lot of our team members come from technology background. We work with MNCs like Cisco's and Nortel and Broadcoms. And what we thought is usually we have a team of chartered accountant and tax experts who are building the software. And with technology, we make sure that you don't forget to ask a question. When you go to a CPA or a chartered accountant in India, they may forget to ask you if you have bought a car this year or if you have bought a house this year, right? But with technology, we take that risk away and let technology and, kind of the whole system or the process evolve where the chances of error is less and more, we use some of the top professionals to kind of analyze the software and do the testing, and so we make sure that you get the best return possible.
All right. So I just wanted to get more insight on this. An NRI sitting here can go to elagan.com. With a click of a button, he can prepare his entire, exactly the way we do it on TurboTax or tax cut. So he can go online with a click of a button. He'll fill all the needed details, and then finally it creates some kind of an end document, which you'll have to go and then upload it into the IRS in India, IRS India website. Is that true? Equivalent. All right. Do we have such a procedure wherein you can prepare your entire tax, go online for maybe it's kind of ICAR website that we have in India. Somebody can pick your document, go online, and then file it in India? Or is there any manual process involved in that?
Actually, income tax return is a very important document. So whenever you are trying to file that tax, you should either manually sign the document and then submit with the department, or you can sign it digitally. That's when we will speak about digital signature and all. So it's an important piece of information. And any data that goes on, if there is a mistake in this or any error that happens, so you would solely be liable to answer to the income tax department. So government in India right now is promoting a lot of e-filing because it helps you in multiple ways. One is it helps you to assess the returns correctly. So whatever you have filed, there is no intermediary involved. So what data you had supplied, that is being filed. That is number one. Secondly, the processing time. Earlier it used to take about 2 to 3 years to get your refunds or any assessment order and stuff like that, right? Now it has come to a couple of weeks, and the government is continuously improving it. So last 3 years back, we had seen it was being done in about 6 to 8 months or a year's time. Now it is just few weeks. So the day you file your return, you can expect your refund to be in your bank account in few weeks. So that helps in e-filing. And certainly anybody can collect all your documents. They can prepare the return on your behalf, take your signature, and also manually submit the return. But that is a completely service-based thing, and we are currently not offering that solution. Yeah.
I got it. And Vikas, coming to you now, lot of NRIs, they don't file Indian taxes because it's not needed, right? In a lot of cases. So can you explain why is that an NRI should file an Indian tax, and what is the benefit of doing it? Can you throw some light on that front?
Yes. So, I will also let Naveen add to this, but one of the things is every year when you file tax return with Government of India, first of all, what you're doing is you're building up capital in India. So even if you have no income in India, you should be able to show if you have any kind of partial income, you should be able to build up your income. You're able to show that, look, I have, I think, up to 1.7 or 2 lakh rupees per year is tax-free. So if you show that kind of income every year in India, it builds up your white money, as they call it in India. So whenever you're buying properties or you're doing any kind of investments or anything else, after 10 years, you will have 20 lakhs or 30 lakhs per person. So if you have a family of 2, husband, wife, and 2 kids, it's 8 lakh rupees or 7 lakh rupees. Let me have Naveen exactly talk about this. Naveen, can you talk about that?
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Actually, the rule is, Srikanth, although India and US has a double tax treaty, but the rule is any income that you derive out of India, So the taxes for that has to be paid in India only. So if you are over the taxable bracket, that is the exemption limit of 1.8 lakhs, and now for the current year it is going to be 2 lakhs. So if you have earned any income above this, then you have to mandatorily file an income tax return in India. If not earned more than a taxable limit, then it becomes optional. So it is good to file, because if you are filing a return irrespective of whatever your income is, you are actually bringing everything to the books. So suppose if you have been earning say 50,000 or a lakh rupee every year, and you have not been filing, and suddenly someday you say, I bought a property because you have been earning 50,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, or whatever investments you have made, it can be questioned why it was not recorded, or how do we believe that this has not been earned this year itself. So one is to, if you are already into taxable bracket, then you have to file. And if you are not, then also we recommend you should go and file it, because we have taken the complexity out of the Indian filing system. So
I think
because I think Naveen has dropped off. So I think voice is as well not clear. We'll try to patch in Naveen on his direct number. So if you could ping us on Facebook, or if you can send an email real quick, I can take a look at it. But let's go ahead, Vikas. Let's go ahead here on what other services. You're an NRI. You know a lot of complicated things that a lot of people would try to avoid. So let's start on this. You are very familiar with starting up new companies, startups. Can you explain how an NRI can go ahead and then start a company in India, and what does it take for an NRI to start a startup company in India? We'll jump to taxes once Vikas is back online. We'll jump to taxes when Pin is online. Yeah, sorry, apologies.
Okay. Now there are a few types of business types. First of all, let me just explain the 4 types of businesses in India. One is sole proprietorship, one is private limited, another is LLP, which is limited liability partnership, and the last one is general partnership. So the sole proprietorship and general partnership are unlimited liability, which is basically does not cover you from any kind of personal losses. So if the business is of losses, then your whole property or everything that you own can be subject to the liability in there. And we don't recommend people opening those kind of accounts. On the other hand, private limited company and LLP are limited liability, and they are recommended based on what you're trying to do. In the sole proprietorship case, NRIs can have a sole proprietorship, but it's a very lengthy process. Repatriation of money is a problem. That means to bring in any kind of money back, you will have to have RBI involved. Even to open a sole proprietorship, RBI has to be involved, and that also kind of turns down the way sole proprietorship can be opened by NRIs. Now, let me also talk about if people over here in the U.S. are familiar with C Corp, the most very similar to that is private limited company in India. Right.
Okay.
So
can you repeat? Is that C Corp?
Yes. Yes. So in the U.S. we have C Corp, C Corporation.
Okay. Okay.
Which is very common among startups and others, mainly because it allows you to issue stock options. So if you want to open a company in India, which should either offer stock options to, let's say, investors or to employees or partners, and you need to have some kind of vesting schedule, then private limited company is your only option. Right? And that is the most common type of company that people usually go with. Right? So you can have, for example, 10 lakh shares, and you can give an employee 1,000 shares. You can give an investor 10,000 shares. LLP, on the other hand, is a limited liability partnership. And what it does is it will allow you to have multiple partners, but it will not, and you can even have percentage of shares, but you cannot have stock options that is given to employees or investors or anybody else. However, LLP has less burden in terms of maintaining it every year. That means you don't need to maintain as many documentation. It's a little bit cheaper to open and operate an LLP versus a private limited, and that's the reason a lot of times people want to go with private, LLP versus a private limited.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, but when NRIs start a company, there are so many things that come into place, right? There are so many different practices that come into place. Like, first thing is how to run a business in India. What is the license involved? How do they file tax returns? What is the Yes, I can hear you. Oh, thank you very much for coming back online, Naveen. It's again good to see you back again.
Yeah, so, Naveen, and also just speak up a little bit so that we can hear you better. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, actually, I was on the call. I think there might be a small confusion that I got dropped off.
Okay.
No issue. So I'll take on that, Vikrant. So very quickly, as Vikas said, so the first step that anybody trying to do business in India is first to decide as to what kind of company suits them best. Right, so there are four options as said. The basic starts with sole proprietorship. Then you go to have a general partnership, LLP, and then private limited. Now, India is still a mixed economy. So one thing is, what kind of activities are you planning? Are you planning to open up, for example, say a software development outsourcing center? In that scenario, an LLP or a private limited must be a great idea. Or if you are looking at, say, opening an e-commerce thing, then actually you will have to find what would be the right way to go about it, because India still has not opened multi-brand retail in India. So any foreign investments are not allowed in a multi-brand retail venture. So based on what exactly are you planning? Is it going to be a outsourced development center? Is it going to be a marketing hub? Or is it going to be a branch office? That would actually help you to take a decision which company type suits you best. Theoretically, you can do any activity in any type of business. So whatever you can do in a proprietorship, you can do the same amount of things in private limited. But things like, as Vikas said, like sharing wealth with your stakeholders or repatriation of money, what kind of liabilities do you foresee in your business? How flexible you want in terms of, say, people moving in, moving out. When I say people, it could be, say, owners or directors. How large scale are you planning? Like, can you quickly scale to multiple locations, multiple cities, or say, or if you have to go and raise some money? Because in India, at times, it is still possible that if you are trying to make changes, that can be too much time consuming. So if you have not taken a right call as to what business type suits you best, then whenever some opportunity comes and if you have to change your business style, it could actually be 2 to 3 months before you are up. And that can be legal actually. So it is very important that you first decide on what is the best business type. The scenario differs people to people. So it's best to consult a tax expert or a chartered accountant who can actually guide you, understand all your requirements, and then help you to take a call, an educated call to what business suits you best. Now, few businesses have a restriction for foreign direct investment. For example, general partnership. There you cannot have a foreigner. So an NRI trying to open a GP is actually not allowed. Proprietorship is allowed, but there are like a lot of approvals and stuff needed, and also there is a condition that you cannot repatriate any money. So in this scenario, actually, it is much more advisable to look at an LLP or a private limited. So private limited is very equivalent to C Corp, and LLP is very, very equivalent to LLC as you see in US. One of the major differences, especially if we talk about, say, IT sector and stuff, is people raise a lot of money because you need to grow very fast. It's not a traditional kirana shop or a normal shop or any consulting business that you are just trying to open. So you need a lot of money as you grow.
Right.
So when you raise investment from investors, they also look at what are the exit options available. And typically, if you look at any investment deals, generally investors want to have a preferential treatment, a difference of stock holding and stuff. So in this scenario, actually a private limited is much more better suited than an LLP, because LLP by nature is actually, I would say, more like designed for consultants, lawyers, chartered accountants, tax professionals, and this kind of professional-based community, not for real like growing companies. So that structure does not support it very well. So although you get a limited liability, LLC is a very popular model both in US, UK, and in fact most of the Europe and stuff. So branding-wise, you get a decent coverage of things, but capital structure-wise, like investor and all, find it a little challenging to invest into this. Now, one of the biggest limitation is currently you are not allowed to convert an LLP to a private limited. So we have seen many businesses who have taken wrong decisions to actually start afresh. After 2 years of their existence, they have to start afresh and then close the existing business once things are operational there. So one is like all your IPs and stuff has to be retransferred. So that's a cumbersome process. Right, so that's what, so as I said, first you have to decide the business and talk to an expert who can actually help you set up everything. And to repatriate money, or even if you are just bringing, even if you don't want to repatriate money, there are various rules and regulations that has to be followed. So one is incorporating the company, and then comes with RBI approvals and intimation. So few sectors like information technology and related one. Hello?
Yes.
Right. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah. So information technology and related ones. So they are actually under 100% pre-approved quota. So here the good thing is you can actually get the money and get to use it, and then intimate the RBI that we have got this money. So there is a process to be followed, and then you can do it. But there are few sectors where you have to first take an approval, and then only you can bring in the money to India. So in that scenario, actually just committing a funding decision or investing into India could take some time, because sometimes these approvals takes about a month to 3 to 4 months or 6 months also, depending on the volume, which sector you are trying and stuff like that. So that's the basic difference between an Indian setting up a company and an NRI setting up a company. One is like you should see whether you can repatriate money. One is the sectoral limit or cap is what we say. As I said, like multi-brand retailing. Now, e-commerce is one of the hottest sector in India. So people are not able to invest into the sector because FDI are not even a single rupee allowed into multi-brand retail right now. So that kind of sectoral limit, you check whether any restrictions are there or not, and then intimate the RBI about the transaction, foreign transaction.
Oh, very nice.
That's how they set it up.
Yeah, solid piece of information. That's really good. So
now, so one thing I just want to add, Shrikant, is sometimes based on your requirement, it can be very complicated. But if you're not sure, definitely contact us. We'll help you kind of decide this. And the other thing is, I know it cannot be generalized, but if few $100 is not an issue with you every year, so if you don't worry about spending extra $100 to $200 a year, then you should definitely go with a private limited company. It just makes it so much simpler and with a long-term vision. That is just a generalized advice, but again, talk to somebody or talk to us, find out, right?
I got it. We have a listener, Pradeep Pratipati from Machilipatnam. He's saying, I want to start a small solar manufacturing company to help the ailing farmers in our community and in our place. So what is the process to start a company in India?
So to put it very simple, Srikant, you just have to provide us a couple of documents. Those documents typically involve a PAN card, an address proof, and a photograph. And you have to actually sign a couple of documents which we will provide, and then we take care of setting it up. But if you want to know the process, so if you talk about say private limited, there's something called DIN, that is Director Identification Number. So this is a kind of a unique the government has given to every person who wants to be a director in a private limited company. So suppose if you want to direct 5 companies, you don't have to take 5 DIN. Only 1 DIN per person is allowed and is needed. Right? So the first step is to get a director identification number. Second thing is to get a digital signature, because all the things are now filed electronically. So you have to digitally sign those forms and documents and then send it across. Then third comes the name approval. So any registered company like LLP and private limited, you have to first take an approval of name from the government. So some criteria there, like it should not be very closely resembling to existing name. It should not be violating any trademarks and stuff. So these are few guidelines that is available. So you can search the existing names and then apply for it. So you have to take that name approval. Then you have to prepare your charter documents, for example, memorandum of association or articles of association. So you prepare them and then file for incorporation. So the government reviews all these documents, and if everything is found okay, and they incorporate the company. And that's the day you are up and running. So kind of a baby has taken birth. So you are a legal existing company on that particular day onwards.
All right. Now, we have another listener who's asking, I want to set up an NGO in India, and I think we talked even before we started this call. I wanted to start an NGO in India for a specific sector. Can you throw some light on how I can start an NGO in India?
So to start an NGO, you need to first decide on, so there are specified set of activities which qualify for NGO. For example, like medical benefits, water treatment, rural upliftment. It should be promoting sports, culture. So there are like set of activities under which classifications has been given. So you have to first decide on it, and then you have to approach. So being an NRI, you have to, since there would be foreign money which will come in, you have to first approach the Ministry of Home Affairs for getting an approval to invest into India. Now, NGOs are a little special because NGO by primary nature don't pay any taxes because it's a non-profit organization. So anywhere, any place where you save taxes, government wants to be much more vigilant as to things are moving in the right shape. So no money laundering or anything is happening and stuff, right? So that's why they have drafted these rules. So you have to first take approval from Ministry of Home Affairs by giving details of what all things you want to do. Who would be the people that would get involved into this, a detailed profile of them which they can evaluate. And then based on your application, they will either reject or approve. So once you get an approval, then you can start the process of forming the NGO. So again, forming any company typically requires ID proof, address proof, and then preparing the charter documents, filing for incorporation and stuff. So those are more or less same. Like the charter documents could be different, the format should be different, what things to take care. So that's left to a chartered accountant or an expert. So once you get the approval, you can form the association or NGO, whatever you want to do, and then you can start operating. And once the company is registered, then you can get the money, and then you can start operations. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, friends, we are in conversation with the eLagan team. I think you'll get a ton of information if you go to www.elagan.com. I'm sure when I see their website, the eLagan friends are really experts in helping out NRIs easily prepare the taxes and help them start a business or help them get PAN cards or digital signatures. So it's really a great honor to have both of them, Naveen and Vikas, on air right now. So let's go ahead with our conversation here. Naveen and Vikas, either of you, if you can pick this question. We have a lot of questions coming in right now. We have Kishore Vandanapu from Bay Area. Is it mandatory that an NRI file tax returns who are living here for 10 to 12 years in a row? If yes, what is the minimum interest income above which filing is mandatory?
So, Srikanth, as I had said earlier also, it is mandatory to file a tax return only when you earn an income which is taxable in India. So the rule is any income that you earn in India, the tax for that has to be paid in India. Right. So, so right now, like for the last financial year, which just ended in March 2012, the exemption limit was 1.8 lakh rupees for an individual. So if your earning has been less than that, you may choose not to file a return.
Right. Okay. I think Kishore Vandanapugaru, I think that answers your question. So you've mentioned Vikas and Naveen. I think Naveen mentioned just recently that about digital signature. And can you explain our listeners why a digital signature is needed, what it takes to get a digital signature for an NRI or for that matter anyone? Why would a digital signature be needed and how is it helpful?
Sure. So digital signature, as the name suggests, is basically your signature or your identity. What is a signature? It's a kind of your identity. So now a lot of things in India is moving the e-governance way, so you can file things electronically. So when, in order to establish that it is the same person, you, who is filing it, government has introduced this concept of digital signature. So there are agencies who are authorized to issue digital signature. Then they appoint agents and sub-agents who can actually act as a distribution network. So to take a digital signature, there is a form that needs to be filled. Again, your ID proof, address proof, and all is needed. Now, Income Tax Department has made it mandatory to have something called PAN encrypted digital signature. That means when you are buying a digital signature, you should already be having a PAN card and you should encrypt that PAN number into your digital signature. Otherwise, you will not be able to use this for income tax filing at least. So it is always advisable to have your PAN encrypted digital signature. So you fill up a form, you provide your ID proof, address proof, and others like photograph and stuff. And then you get a digital signature which is in a form of a file. It's a .pfx file. So you can actually use the file as a password protected, or you can even store that on a digital USB token. There are special token which is used for digital signature. So it's a one-way, like you can only read it, but you cannot copy the contents to any other device for security purpose and stuff. So that's how it is stored. So once you get the digital signature, then there has to be a special application to actually access and sign that document. So many times we get this question actually, I have a digital signature, I am trying to send an email using digital signature, how do I do that? Or I have prepared a Word document letter, now I want to digitally sign it. So actually you just cannot use this in a normal Word document, or in an email it is possible, but then you have to configure it accordingly. So you need a special application of forms which has this capability of reading a digital signature and then signing the document. So there you have to sign it and then you can upload it or use it for any purpose as you want. Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
So
okay.
I just want to add on to
get a digital signature. Yeah, they can can actually contact us, and then we can help them send these documents. So they have to fill up the forms, give us these documents, and then we can help them issue these digital signatures.
Absolutely, absolutely. One point there is just log into elagan.com and then they can go, and then I see some links wherein any user can click on get a digital signature, right? Is that all about it? Or can you throw some light on how anybody can apply for a digital signature on your website, please?
So you have to contact us, so then we can send you the forms which has to be filled. And along with instructions like what documents would be needed, like PAN card or passport and address proof and stuff. So you have to fill the form, you have to attach these things and send it to us by post in a hard copy. So we verify all those things and then issue the digital signature accordingly.
Yeah,
so
because go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing is most of the procedures that we are, Naveen is telling right now, we just want people to know exactly what goes on behind the scene, and that's why we are giving the complete detail. But irrespective of if you're trying to get a digital signature or register a company or NGO, if you go through, if you go through Elagan, this is what is most of the time required. One is for knowing most of the companies in India, or not companies, most of the organizations, the government organization in India, you need 2 or 3 things. You need to have some kind of address proof, which is either your passport and a bank account, which has to be attested here, either notarized or apostilled in the U.S. or anywhere in the world. And the other thing you need is photographs and just details about, sometimes details about Indian or Indian location and things like that. So these are the 3 things. On top of that, we usually ask you very simple questions, which you don't have to get worried about the forms and how they are filled up and everything else. It's like, give us the information in simple text, and then we'll take care from there. So that even if you're opening a company or anything else, it should take you not very long to just answer a few questions. What should be the name of the company? What are you trying to do? And we will take care of everything else from end to end in that case.
Pretty good, pretty good. Very, very well said. Okay, now we have, go ahead. Is there someone, did I cut a conversation? Yes. Go ahead, sir, please.
Yeah, no, and I just want to add one more thing. We just talked about digital signature. It is required in a lot of things, including, for example, if you submit your tax return to the government or the income tax department, they don't know that it is you who is submitting it versus somebody else. Having a digital signature is the only way for them to confirm that it is you who is submitting that. So we always highly recommend. We have seen two things which has really come into the way of people doing things in India. If you're trying to sell properties, do anything, a lot of things. One is PAN card. It is equivalent to the social security number here. And we recommend every Indian should just get one of them. It's a once in a lifetime thing. Cost you maybe $50. It's very easy to go through us, or you can directly apply for it. But get your PAN card. That is the thing that takes the longest amount of time, and you need it just once in the lifetime. So get a PAN card, guys. If you don't have that, we really recommend you get that. And the other thing is, get a digital signature. However, digital signature has a limited validity. It can be up to 2 or 3 years. So based on, if you are planning to start something, next year you're going to be doing something, or this year you're going to be doing something, get your digital signature, get yourself ready. That way you don't have to get stuck for weeks or months before you can complete a transaction or do something important.
Very good, very good. And friends, we are live from Los Angeles. This is NRI Samay, and we are in conversation with Elagan team live with us today, talking about digital signatures, talking about how to apply for a PAN card, how to start a company in India, and how can somebody start an NGO firm in India. So good to have a lot of inputs from them. So we have Vikas or Naveen, if either of you can pick up. We have Raghu Nandagiri from Michigan asking, I am buying a property in Bangalore, and I'm wondering if I can use digital signatures for any of these property transactions. Can you throw some light on that?
Hi, Raghu. Unfortunately, for property transaction, detailed signature is still not applicable. So I'm afraid that it will not be of much use to you.
Good. Okay. All right. So, and then let's go over a few other topics. You guys are doing so many different things, and I mean, really, I'm seeing a lot of information on elagan.com as well. So, coming back to a few of these things, I wanted to understand from you guys, what is an import and export license, and how is it related to NRIs? Can you take some real case examples here and then explain how this import-export license works?
Sure. So import-export license, as the name suggests, again, Srikanth, so it is a license which allows you to import or export anything in or out of India, right? So this can be a product. This can be also a services. So it doesn't mean that suppose if you am offering a service or a consulting to somebody in US, I don't need that license. So the basic rule is if you are doing any kind of commercial transaction, international commercial transaction in India, then you need an IEC. IEC, it is called actually an import-export code. So IEC is only applicable to people who are operating in India, whether to import or to export, not for NRIs. So if an NRI is trying to do business with India, they don't need an IEC. It is the Indian company or whomever they are doing a business, they will need an IEC to do a business with an NRI or anybody outside India. I hope I have answered the question.
Yeah, and
yes.
It's a little confusing. Let me just, just to explain a little bit more. Is as an NRI, you need to have some kind of import or export from the U.S. That would be taken care from the U.S. government side. And, this is not that. This is only for individuals. So if your family is exporting you something, or if your family is importing from you something, then they need an IEC code. Or as an NRI, if you go and start a company in India, then that company in India would need an IEC code.
Okay. Okay.
So it's not something an NRI locally in the U.S. or anywhere else in the world will get it. It's something your entity, the NRI's entity in India, has to get it. And it's also, by the way, a one-time thing. Once you get the code, and that's it. So it's maybe $100 to $200 to get it. But it's
very simply, IEC is not needed to do business with India. India needs IEC to do business with the world.
Oh, okay. It's the other way around. Okay.
Right.
In India, we have procedures until and unless somebody is not having an IEC, a proper IEC, import-export code. It is not possible for someone to get in or send their product out. That's what is mandatory, right?
Yeah.
So that is, products are certainly taken care by the customs because it has to go through the customs. But as I said, the rule is actually that even the services you should not export. I know many people do that, especially the freelancers who do one-time or small-time activities. So they do that and they get money to their savings account and stuff. But as I said, the rule is basically if you are doing any commercial transaction with the external world, then you need IEC. For example, I am developing a software, so I can just send it to you online. There is no check gates or anything that I need any approval. But whenever I am getting the money to my account, my banker would actually ask, where is your IEC and what is the purpose of this money, in what remittance? At that point of time, the bankers are supposed to be your check gates to make sure that you have an IEC kind of thing. Yeah.
So awesome. This is a good piece of information. Okay, so let me put it real simple. Let's imagine we have some kind of a freelancer who's developing a small piece of software, and then he's selling it to someone in Europe. So, and then when that Europe guys pays him that money, you're saying that once that money gets into some kind of bank account, until unless it's black money like a cash transaction or something of that nature, but if it comes into a bank account, the bank the bank would ask him how and why this money is coming in, right? That's when this IEC code will come into place, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
And this freelancer, assuming this freelancer is in India, and the other thing is even PayPal account. If you are an Indian resident, you open a PayPal account to receive money, they will ask for an IEC code before they will allow you transactions, for example.
Ah.
I think they made it the PAN card as mandatory because basically, theoretically, this would be asking it. And to be very frank, Srikant, I'm giving you a very practical example. Many of the bankers are following this strictly and many bankers are not. But irrespective of anything, I'd just like to highlight one thing here. Now India is actually moving more and more to the e-governance thing, and a lot of things now use IT to transact, right? So
right.
Basically, not having an IEC and still doing business with external world, you may escape once or twice or maybe even 20 times, but you are actually creating a trail which can anytime be tracked down. So you are actually breaking the law, but just don't worry that if your banker has not asked IEC, then it is not needed. Because tomorrow if some trail is being checked, then you would be responsible, not your banker. So the liabilities and the onus will come on you for breaking the law, not on your banker.
Oh, okay. Very good piece of information.
Like everything is captured into data and servers and stuff, but can easily be proved that this date, this much amount had come. So what is the source, why IEC is not there and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, we have a caller live on air. Sir, please spell your name and then go ahead and ask a question to either Naveen or Vikas. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, hi, this is Srihari. So my question is, I have two questions actually. If suppose an NRI is planning to move to India for good, do you guys have a checklist or something that you can help with? So that's the first question. After you answer, I'll ask the second one.
Okay. We don't.
When you say move, like are you moving for permanent residency or how is it?
Yeah, permanent.
Okay. See, a couple of things, Sri. One is basically all your money. See, actually in India, if you are more than 182 days out of India in a particular financial year, you are actually considered as an NRI for that particular year. And there are some more calculation like past 7 years, last 3 years, these many days in and out. So one is whenever you are moving to India, and if you have still not decided whether you would be permanently staying in India or not, you can actually park your money in foreign exchange with almost every bank. There are special types of account where you can actually park all your funds and then keep withdrawing it as and when needed. Parking in foreign exchange helps the day you decide to go back, and actually you don't have too many complex things to handle to take back that money out of India. So that is one thing that you should be looking at, what time and what kind of accounts you should be opening and how to transfer your money. Most of the scenario, getting money into India is very, very easy and straightforward. But whenever you are trying to take money out of India, I would put it from a different perspective that the government does not know whether it is your money or this is an income that has been generated in India. So they need some more certifications and processes to be followed to make sure that all proper taxes has been paid before the banker can actually release the money. So there is something called 15CA and 15CB, which is...
Hi, Naveen. Actually, my question is a little different. What I wanted to know is whether you guys provide a full suite of services for somebody who is planning to move to India, or so that you can give a checklist and say, hey, you guys need to take care of all these things, or do you have a only the taxation and PAN and a couple of other things.
Yeah, so what we provide is actually we are a financial expert. So we don't have a particular checklist, and we can't support you in any ways in terms of how do you get your luggage there or anything else. But we can help you answer questions, or if you have any kind of doubts about what happens, how do I transfer that, how do I make it so that it's less taxable there, and it is the legal route and RBI approval and all those things. So we can only help with the financial side of things. And we don't have that.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
So my second question I have is about the asset declaration that I think U.S. wants all residents. It's a U.S. thing. I don't know if you're
yeah, so I think you're talking about the F-bar in the U.S. Again, we only deal with things in India. So for U.S. declaration and taxes, we recommend you talk to an expert locally here or review it online somewhere.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for the call.
Yeah, thank you, Srihari. Thank you very much. So I think we're almost coming to an end of this show. It's already 9:58. We have a couple of minutes left. So I just wanted to quickly go over. You guys have very good experts at eLagan team. I've already got some information that you have one of member in your team who has been instrumental in getting the cyber law. Can you throw some light on that?
So, Naveen, can you talk about Navi?
We have this person called Navi, who is actually one of the pioneers in cyber law in India. He has written the first book, the first ebook, not just the first, I think the first two book and the first two ebook in India about cyber law has been authored by him. And he has been closely working with various governmental agencies, corporates and stuff to set up policies, to define cyber laws which are like globally compliant and of top-notch quality. So that's the kind of exposure Navi has. And he at eLagan, we have most of our actually client base into IT and related sector, e-commerce, IT, services, product and stuff. So this is also a sector which has one of the highest number of transactions with the international world. A lot of new products are also coming out of India which actually caters to global citizens and everyone. So Navi basically helps these businesses to set up the right policies, right infrastructure related to cyber law, terms of service, privacy policies, how the dispute resolution should happen, what kind of grievance redressal mechanisms we should have in place, how the security of the data and creating cyber evidences and stuff like that. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Okay. So, in a nutshell, I think a lot of our listeners got a sense of. I think we covered many different pieces, but a lot of our users have got basic understanding that yes, in India there is a possibility that somebody can file their taxes online, and they can eventually, through some various different routes, they can make sure that it reaches the income tax department in India. The second part that we discussed is how to start a company. How can an NRI or any overseas Indian can start a company in India, and what are the procedures, practices, and policies that are involved in starting a company. That's the second part that we covered. And you guys have given a very good understanding of how a digital signature works, and how significant is someone having a PAN card. So good stuff from all your from your side. We are really honored to have you, both of you, Vikas and Naveen, online and sharing a good piece of information. I think it really would benefit a lot of NRIs here. So I really thank both of you, Naveen and Vikas, being on air and then answering all these questions. So we almost came to the end of the show. So do you wanted to wrap up by telling us what all you do at eLagan, just as a wrap up, as a summary, so that people can understand and know more about you guys, and how do they go and then contact you guys, and how can they get more information?
Yes. So to quickly summarize what we do is we provide end-to-end services for businesses and individuals to run either their business or any kind of financial transactions they want to do with India. It could be so if you're a business, we provide from starting up your business to accounting to filing all kind of returns to payroll and much more. We're coming with more and more product suites on that. And on the personal side, we provide PAN cards, digital signature, tax returns, and some of the investment advice. One of the places I would like to point out is that we have something called Elegant Whiteboard Fridays, where every Friday we take a complex legal or compliance issue and explain them in a very layman term. So if you have questions about what is a service tax and why do I need it, what is DIN, which is digital identification number, we take 3 to 12 minutes and just explain that complex issue. So I would encourage people to go look at that, elegant.com/whiteboard, or just search for Elegant Whiteboard Friday.
Do we have that on YouTube as well, Vikas?
Yes, so all these videos are on YouTube, so you can go to youtube.com/elegant, and you can find tons of videos explaining some of these things.
I'm just seeing it right now while you're talking about it. Fascinating piece of information there. So, okay. So that's good stuff. Yeah. So you do that every Friday, is it?
Every Friday we release one video. So, and send us your request for something that you would like to understand. We will try to do a video on that.
Very good. Very good. Yes. Go ahead with any other piece of information. Vikas or Naveen, you wanted to share something?
No, I think that's it. So, it's great to be here, and appreciate everybody's time to come and listen to us.
Awesome. And Vikas and Naveen, if you had any other questions from any other listeners, because we have a lot of listeners who go to our archives and listen to our shows. So if we get any questions, we will just try to loop back with you with any inputs or questions that we get at nrisamay@gmail.com. And also, friends, if you are on Facebook, please visit us on facebook.com/NRI Also, if you're on YouTube, you can please subscribe us on YouTube, youtube.com/NRI And today's show will be put on YouTube in the next hour or hour and a half. So please do go ahead, and then if you have missed our shows or any earlier shows, go ahead and then you can find all of them on YouTube. And Vikas and Naveen, it's a great honor to have both of you, young entrepreneurs, really making some difference, doing some good stuff, coming up with good products. I really assume after a lot of our listeners, after listening to the show, would at least give a try with Tax Ninja. I really liked it. As well as having a conversation with you guys, I was clicking that, providing some information on that. So a good starting point. Tax Ninja is one good place. People can take a look at it and file their taxes online wherever they are around the world. So thank you very much, Vikas and Naveen.
Thank you, Shrikant. I think you're doing an awesome job with NRI Samay. So great work. I look forward to hearing more of your shows. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Naveen from India. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So that's about it, friends. We have the Elegant team today live on NRI Samay. If any of you have any questions, any comments, any feedback, please do write back to us, and then we will forward them to the Elegant team. If you have any questions as well, we will just try to make sure we put across to Elegant team. And to just wrap up the show and then explain what Elegant team is a company, is a young company designed by young entrepreneurs who are currently offering various different financial solutions like tax preparation, tax planning, and how to set up businesses in India and USA. And they've given wonderful piece of information on how to start a company in India and how can an NGO start their operations in India, and what's the significance of having a digital signature, and how does it help when you file your taxes in India. And also we have got a substantial piece of information on how significant a PAN card is. So I hope you've got a good piece of information today. And this is Shrikant Kocharlakota, the host of today's show, signing off. In the meantime, listen to this wonderful, wonderful music. Thank you. Thank you, friends. Wherever you are around the world, thank you very much.